Milton Keynes. It has a population of just under 250,000 people, 3 masonic halls, and a sports direct with staff that are more promiscuous than the whole cast of Love Island. This story is about how a love triangle became a conspiracy to murder, and a woman has been found guilty this week for trying to hire a hitman to murder her love rival in the Milton Keynes area. James PREST was the manager of a store in the Milton Keynes shopping centre, Sports Direct, and he had a wife and 2 children, and he was having an affair with a woman called Whitney Franks, who worked at the same store. A year after she started working there, another woman called Ruth Rutner started working at the same store, and the manager James PREST also started an affair with her. So James at that time had at least 3 women in his life, and he was a very busy man. And things were going fine for him for a period of time, until jealousy started to appear in relationships. And Whitney Franks, who's 26 years old, was later arrested and charged with trying to hire a hitman from the dark web to murder her own work colleague. She actually said in court as well that she got the idea from watching CSI and a program about the dark web as well. So I'm not sure if she thought it was going to work like something out of John Wick, where you just post a contract and then hitmen appear out of nowhere. But she was actually trying to hire someone for the measly amount of £1,000 as well. And they discovered that she attempted to buy Bitcoin, and this may have been a method she'd have chose to pay for it. The court heard that she was rampantly jealous and is accused of trying to hire the online hitman and posted the advertisement in a forum. The prosecutor Andrew Copeland said the ad read, "I'm looking to murder this woman. I have £1,000, but I'm willing to pay more. This woman has caused a lot of problems for myself and others. Please can you help sort this out?" To the potential victim's Facebook profile. So she just put this into a chat room assuming that everybody on there was a hitman, and it turned out that a BBC journalist was actually on there too, because they've just discovered the dark web exists. So it's not very dark anymore, it's barely dim to be honest, and they spend a lot of time trying to get a story from there, and they've seen this woman post this, and of course they thought it was their lucky day, which it turned out to be, even though I doubt that anybody would have taken this woman seriously. The court heard that she'd made a cryptocurrency account and she only brought £282 worth of Bitcoin, and then she withdrew it 3 days later. The workplace romance is alleged to have begun in 2016, a year after Franks began working at the store, and it was continuing when Rutner joined the team in 2017. They both became love rivals of James PREST, and they were both romantically involved with him, the prosecution said. In 2018, Whitney was moved to a different store in Bletchley, and the court heard how PREST, who had a long-term partner with 2 children, tried to play them off against each other, and his relationship with both women was periodic. In 2020, James PREST would leave his home where his partner was and go to see Rutner on several occasions. In August of 2020, Franks turned up at the Milton Keynes Sports Direct to confront him about the relationship with Rutner. PREST was upset about a comment he made about him sneaking around at night, but both of the women never spoke to each other, so the prosecution asked how she would possibly know this, and they determined that she must have been following him. The relationship between PREST and Franks ended, but she tried to contact him via email, and she said to him, "I can give you the entire world, James. If you give me a chance, I think we can be the happiest you've ever been in your life." She said, "I hope you're doing well inside and out, and I've been trying to sort out my anxiety, and I'm going to give a few things a go." The prosecution then revealed about the online ad for the hitman and said instead of it being taken up by a budget hitman, it was seen by an investigative journalist. The court heard that the day after Franks wrote the letter to her manager, police received a call from Carl Miller, who had been investigating the dark corners of the web. The court heard that the post had been anonymous, and the police were able to identify that Rutner was in danger. They took her into protective custody and continued the investigation, but Rutner told the police that she had an idea as to who was behind the listing, and this led to the arrest of Franks on September the 10th, 2020, and she was later charged with soliciting to murder at Reading Crown Court. Franks denied the charges, and she said that she had no intention of ever hiring anybody to try to murder her colleague. But she was found guilty on July the 22nd of soliciting murder. A jury of 10 men and 2 women delivered a unanimous verdict in less than 4 hours at Reading Crown Court. Judge Paul Dugdale said, You've been convicted of soliciting murder. It's a very serious offence. It's an offence which I will have to give you a lengthy sentence for, and the case has been adjourned until September. So in relation to how long she can get, she potentially is looking at several years. Even 6 years would not be unheard of in relation to soliciting murder. It's not as serious as conspiracy to murder, but it's definitely up there. And this story is a big warning of how a relationship can become so toxic and also deadly as well if you let somebody just be able to manipulate you and play people off against each other. So really appreciate you joining me for this story, and don't forget to send your stories to news@scarcitystudios.com, and I'll be back again very shortly with some more news.